this is the passenger side head, and as you can see, it is caked. Just absolutely caked. This is the one that had the PCV. This is why I tell everyone one of the most important modifications that you can make to a performance engine is to letting it breathe freely. Don't have the PCV in there because it blocks it up and it lets it get all choked up, does things like this. Also, change your damn oil. That right there, that's uncalled for. That's ridiculous. I'm gonna go ahead and get this cleaned up, prepped, and then we'll start getting into some action. After a few minutes of just scraping it with a screwdriver, look at that. That's just not cool, man. Not cool. Let's give you an idea. You see this little dip right here? We're gonna stick this here. What we're gonna drill a hole here. And I actually have one of these. See, it's already inset. A little bit of lip there. And I'll show you about how we're gonna just tap the sheet metal to make sure it's flush with this lip. We get a good seal, and the oil can just go right back into the valve cover where it's supposed to go. Okay, the problem is the overall angle. There's a tiny bit of a dip here, tiny bit of a dip here, here as well, and here. The object is to not deform the valve cover wherever it bends, drill our holes where we can get the nuts on the back side of them safely, not interfering with any rockers, and still creating our seal. That right there looks good to me. I'm going to go ahead and just start drilling the first hole. That should be good right there. These are pretty good about staying center. Before I drill too much more, check. Yeah, that'll work fine. Go ahead and get that one in. I always like to taper it just a tiny bit. I like that. That looks good. Do a bigger bit. There you have it. Do my best to center up. Mind you, this is no fancy tools. We're just doing it all by eye. If your eyes suck, don't do this. Mind you not. Yeah, that looks good. That looks plenty centered to me. I'll go ahead and get the rest of that drilled out. You can't prove anything. Weld the nut to the backside. Do this while the valve cover is still on if for some reason. I'm going to weld these so that the nut stays in place. I wish that I could get this tighter to get that to thread down a couple more. The person who made this did not intend for there to be like a nipple effect happening here. And so this is the most I was able to get it without damaging the housing. I was worried about the aluminum cracking. Maybe if I had a tap, of course, I could probably finish it, but I don't have one. So at the moment, this is what's going down. Later I will go get the 1/2 inch MPT tap. We'll tap this flange out the rest of the way, and then we can thread that down, a little bit further into it. So I want to disclose one of the biggest reasons that I'm doing this, that I'm actually welding these in here, is so that if for some odd reason these nuts were to come loose, they don't come into our valve train. That's probably one of the sketchiest things about doing this particular mod. So make sure that you at least weld the nuts in place so that they don't move anymore. They're not going to come off. Otherwise, it's like I tell everyone, it's really not that difficult to get this to seal up. That's not a big deal. This particular valve cover doesn't have any obstruction of the bolts. The other one, which I will show you eventually, does have no ability really to take the valve cover itself on and off while the bracket is installed. Alright, so step 1 is to drill, step 2 is to weld, step 3 is to tap this fitting. As you can see, I did put the gasket in, okay, and the gasket, let me give you a close-up. The gasket did create a seal, as you can see there. That's not good enough for me. Not at all. Okay, I use this piece of round stock, this hammer, first. I use a screwdriver second. Just take it in here, and I'm going after where it's ribbed and rounded. Just taking this round stock, a little tap, and tighten the deal there. Sit up against. Just went around and tapped it, so now it's nice and flush, flat. Pushes against the gasket and allows that little bit of hose to basically be inset into the sheet metal. Alright, so I got it back on. Just gonna give it another wipe down real quick here. One of the things I know a lot of people are concerned about, are these gonna hit the rocker arm? It didn't on the other head. I don't believe it's going to on this one. But we're gonna check that out right now, because this position's gonna allow us to investigate that a bit further compared to the other head where the alternator was in the way. Let's go ahead, put this down. What is it? It's a stupid tab. A finicky pain in the ass. Look at that. Are you serious right now? There you go. And then to answer your question, no, that's not hitting it at all. In fact, I can put my finger in between it, the rocker arm and the, yeah, it's fine, nowhere near it. So there's the passenger side. See, I had way easy access to that. That one there is real tight. I'm actually going to look and see if I can shave that part of the alternator housing out. And if I can, it'll make access a little bit easier. That bolt right there I had to shave down. It's actually half the size of the other bolts. But that's access there. And they're both pointing up just enough that they're not flat. That was the most I could thread them. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I'll try to get it just a little bit more. Thanks for watching.